The Mayor Mobile is down. Not want to crank. It's due to some frayed wires there, but I brought the big guns in. Ian came by. It's gonna help me push it from here to there. People, Eddy, Mayor of Flux City, and I am on my way to the bank with a few official checks that I initially drew up for property taxes. And I went down to the city of Detroit, to the property tax department on a Friday, and not knowing that they were closed on Fridays for whatever reason. The only way I was able to pay was via kiosk. And so they had this one kiosk outside of the property tax office in the Coleman Young building. And on the kiosk it says that it only takes cash, personal or check, not personal check, cash, check, or debit or credit. No money order. So, me thinking that a money order is different than an official check, I went ahead and pushed the official checks through as payments, and it showed that it was paid. Then this Sunday I get a text message stating that, and a set of emails stating that my payment didn't get pushed through. Not only that, but I got a $25 fee associated with all of the checks that I pushed through when I thought that I was paying my property taxes on these different various parcels. So I'm a bit frustrated, to be honest, because one would think that you should be able to pay your property taxes with an official check, but unfortunately you can't. I did make a phone call today to get clarity on why I was not able to use an official check for payment, and they said the city of Detroit basically stated that I could, but I'd have to mail it in, and I'm not too big of a fan of mailing in, checks closer to the end of the year when I'm trying to pay these property taxes for 2023, right? I need these property tax payments to basically be accepted before the end of the year in order for me to, properly allocate my taxes the way we need to allocate them. And so unfortunately I may end up needing to pay via debit or credit, but the problem with that is it comes with close to a 3% service fee, and if I'm paying over $10,000 in property taxes, that could add up, right? So I was hoping to avoid that service fee, but it doesn't look like I'll be able to do so at this moment. But it was kind of a bummer to not be able to pay property taxes with an official check. It was also kind of a bummer that there was nobody at the office where we pay taxes here in Detroit in person. Nobody at the office on a Friday to answer these questions And I was there for about an hour, kind of waiting on the kiosk so I can pay my taxes. But overall, there were probably, 20 people that came into the Coleman Young building wanting to pay their property taxes in person, and also, maybe have a question or two for the city with regard to clarity and things of that nature. But the office was closed, so I definitely would recommend the city consider opening up, their property tax or their treasury office or whatever the office is called, in order to allow for city residents to be able to have somebody to engage with, especially on a Friday when, some people may have that day allocated to take care of business for one reason or another. And, to get down to the Coleman Young building and to have that office closed was a bit of a bummer, because I could have avoided this need of me to basically reinitiate the payment of my property taxes, and I could have avoided a number of service fees that are now tacked on to my property tax bill. And ultimately, I could have also saved this trip that I'm needing to take again in order to rectify this scenario. So, oh well. How you doing, boss? I got a notification that my payment didn't go through because I used a
What kind of
official check.
official check?
Yeah, so I just cashed it, and so now I'm gonna go ahead and try to pay via debit card.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I wish I would have been able to get it, cause see, like if it's like a cashier's check or like a credit union check
Yeah.
or anything like that, it will not accept the payment.
Right.
So
But it said no money order, but to me a money order is different.
oh yeah, we don't even accept money orders either.
Right.
But the thing is, the company, we haven't. I don't know why they haven't put like papers up or something to let people know. But yeah, only thing that works are like personal checks that you would get from the bank.
Still, it's showing my balance at zero.
Okay, so what you're probably gonna need to do, if it's saying that you're not owing anything and you know you owe something, just try to go down to room 130, go all the way down the hall,
Okay.
and tell them that you had an issue with your bill recently when you paid it. It didn't go through because you were using a method that the machine didn't accept.
Okay.
And they should be able to help you with that situation.
So I'd be able to pay it down there then?
Yeah, or they'll have you come back down here and they'll bring someone with you to help you.
Gotcha. Okay. The machine said that I didn't owe any taxes, even though I received an email and a text message stating otherwise. So now I got to go to another department to try to get this rectified. So we'll see how this goes. So as it turns out, even though the payment was rejected, the accounts still show a paid in full status. So looks like I gotta wait roughly 5 business days before it officially is confirmed in the system that the payment didn't go through. So the saga continues with regard to me trying to pay my property taxes. Me using the wrong payment method, ultimately creating more and more headache for me to deal with. So stay tuned. So this was a property that I used to own a few years ago. I actually made a video on why I sold the property, but this is a property on Gratiot that I bought for roughly around $6,500. Can't remember the exact number, and it needed a lot of work. Needed a lot of work. It had a lot of potential, but it needed a lot of work. So ultimately, I realized just how much work it needed after I purchased the property, and realized that it was something that I wasn't able to accomplish. But when I was driving by, I saw this fence and I saw that there wasn't a building anymore. And I had to pull over to the side to see what the heck is going on. But memories. We put a lot of blood, sweat, a little bit of tears into this project. And once again, ultimately, it did not pan out the way I wanted it to. But it looks like the new owners were in a scenario where they didn't keep the property up to par based on what the city requires. And it looks like they had an emergency demo at this site. So check it out. Yep, this used to be a building here. And when I was driving, I saw these danger signs and notices. Here, this basically states that the building official has ordered this emergency measure and temporary safeguard to protect public health and safety. So this doesn't look like this was a privately ordered demo. This looks like this was ordered from the city of Detroit. It even has the asbestos notice around the top of the fence. But really bittersweet in a way to see this project in this condition due to the amount of work that I put into it. More specifically, the cleanup aspect of it all. And check the link in the upper right hand corner. I'm going to try to add a link to the video that kind of highlighted why I bought and ended up selling this project a few years ago. But yeah, that is bittersweet and unfortunate that the new owner was not able to execute their plan accordingly. So I am intrigued with what the city plans on doing with this site, because there are a few extra lots next to that project or that building that was demoed, and this could be a great development site. Honestly, I'm going to keep my eye on it. It would be something to eventually have an opportunity to redevelop this corner on Gratiot, as I'm a big fan of Gratiot south of 94 due to the proximity from this area to Eastern Market in downtown Detroit. So really vast amounts of lands and lots that have a number of development potential. It's just that a lot of the funding partners and foundations have yet to kind of move into this area and provide gap funding that would be needed for development in an area such as this. But really big fan of Gratiot, once again, because of how close downtown and Eastern Market is. Not to mention the new U of M Center that finally broke ground about a week ago. That's roughly 6-7 minutes from where I'm standing at now. So a lot of possibilities in this area.
Thank you.
Oh, this is unnecessary.
Very unnecessary. I think he may be the first owner that ever got us that thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is for Don.
Wow.
Yeah. You can drop that to Don whenever you can.
Coat and a bag.
Yeah.
Don will love
Let's see.
If it's a sandwich, it's Ian. Oh,
Ian,
it's even got her name on it. Oh, good.
yours.
Thank you.
And Shane, I didn't get you one. And Shane. Nothing fancy,
it.
guys.
Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you, Eddie.
This is the first. This is the first time this has happened.
Nice.
Yeah.
It is.
Nice.
We're up on the 3rd floor of the ribbon here. We're in one of the residential units. Right now, this building is at the stage where the plumbing, the HVAC, and the electrical have all been roughed into the walls. So we're getting close to the point where we can insulate and drywall. With these particular, so this red kind of like putty is actually a fire caulk that sits on all of the electrical boxes where we have fire rated walls. So fire rated walls are always walls that are dividing different units and also from units into common spaces like hallways. So with this particular one, we have to have a fire rated wall, which includes this red fire caulk that keeps it, protected. Same thing when we install the drywall. There'll be a double layer of drywall on one side of this to give us our 1.5 hour rating between units. So a lot of this is, again, it's just fire safety and fire suppression. If there were to be a fire in a given space, it would take 1.5 hours for that fire to burn through this wall. So it's the same thing with our elevator portion over there. Our elevator shaft is going to be a 2-hour rating, and to get to that 2-hour rating, you can use a lot of different materials. For this particular rating, we're going to use 2 layers of 5/8 drywall on each side of the wall, and it's the same thing. It would basically, the 2-hour rating means it would take a fire in the shaft 2 hours to burn through that wall into another portion of the building. So it's basically just protection. So if there is, in the event of a fire, that if it was at night, for example, tenants would have ample time to exit the building through the other stairwell, et cetera, et cetera. And then this building is also fire sprinkled and fire alarmed. So, there's normal alarms that you would see in any normal building, and then there's also a fire suppression or a fire sprinkler system. So these pipes deliver water and fire water heads to each unit, so that, again, if there was a fire, there's protection. So there's ample protection, and there's plenty of codes with the city, with the state, to make sure that this building is very, very safe from that perspective. So these here are exhaust vents, and these actually, you can see here, whenever they're going through a wall and then depositing like between walls, you have to have something called a fire damper. So basically on the ceiling there's going to be a drywall lid that is a 1-hour rating. Well, you'll notice that this ductwork goes up into that where that fire rating will be. So it's penetrating that ceiling where the fire rating. Well, we have to have something to basically insulate it and contain it, so that everything is a rated assembly. So there's something called a fire damper installed right up there where that ductwork penetrates where the ceiling is going to be. It'll make a lot more sense once we have drywall in here, but it's basically pretty much everything that penetrates a fire rated assembly has to be either fire caulked, like we talked about with those outlets, or there has to be fire dampers with any HVAC equipment and ductwork, stuff like that.
So the Mayor Mobile is down. Not want to crank. It's due to some frayed wires there, but I brought the big guns in. Ian came by. It's gonna help me push it from here to there. back in the mayor mobile. Turns out the starter, for whatever reason, fried the wiring harness that it was connected to. And when I say fried, I'm talking like those wires were, and the actual piece that connected the wiring harness to the starter were fried and burned. So luckily, no fire was a result of what we were looking at. I'll show you a picture here, but it was pretty bad, honestly. So luckily, I'm back on the road. Royal Auto Clinic on East Warren got me together, so shout out to them. I really appreciate you guys getting me back on the road. But yesterday I'm driving, no issues, going from place to place, downtown, midtown Detroit to the east side and back. And then all of a sudden, I hop in my car, turn the key, and the engine doesn't turn over at all, right? And so immediately I realized that there could be some type of an electrical issue, and I was hoping that it was just maybe the battery connector got loose, and maybe I could just tighten it back in or on to the battery poles and get back on the road. But that wasn't the case. So luckily I was really close to an auto repair shop, and I ended up Ian actually left with Artisan Contracting. He ended up leaving the site, and before he left, he asked if I needed any assistance, and I said no, I can figure it out. But 5 minutes after he left, I gave him a call, like, hey man, I need you to come help me push this bad boy next door. And luckily he was able to swing back and help me out here. So, but yeah, we're back on the road, and another close call with regard to me being able to avoid another car note. Because as you can guess, this 1994 Ford Ranger doesn't have a car note. I don't have to pay anything on this outside of repairs, and it's been pretty good to me, honestly. I didn't have to put too much money into this work truck since I've owned it. It's definitely been a value to me, and a very reliable tool when it comes to getting around town. So really appreciate this truck, and I'm hoping to get maybe another year out of it before I potentially find myself needing to buy a new car. But I bring that up because as real estate developers, a lot of people may think that we have a lot of money, but on paper it may look like we have a bit of wealth, but in reality a lot of developers are cash poor, right? And so going out buying a new vehicle and spending money on things that you don't necessarily need to spend money on could put you in a predicament where you're not able to have the ability to cover your everyday necessities. As silly as it sounds, a car note could make or break your monthly budget as a developer, a full-time developer. And so putting yourself in a scenario where you're running on a very lean budget is key to your ability to be able to survive the rough patches when you start out as a developer. And even if you may have a few projects in motion or pending, you still want to really be mindful of how you spend your money and avoid as much as you can with regard to costs. And that includes a car note, that includes that $6-7 cup of coffee every day. Even though I'm a big coffee fan, that's one of my vices. But got to be mindful that those things do add up. And as a developer who needs to really cover a lot of stuff out of pocket until you get to a point where you have a construction loan or even a pre-development loan. You know, those monies could be used to advance a vision that you may have on a project that you're working on. So trying your best at, once again, being lean with your budget is imperative for an up-and-coming real estate developer, and something that I just wanted to share with you guys. And I do get people asking me why I still drive, an old beat-up pickup truck. But the fact of the matter is, this thing still is pushing, right? This thing is still rolling. And so, my father taught me a long time that vehicles are really tools to get you from point A to point B. Because I do like fast cars. I'm a person that had a 87 Grand National. I had a Chevelle, 67 Chevelle at one point. I had a Scottsdale. I think that was a 78 Scottsdale lowered with a 350 in it. It wasn't that fast. It was loud. But yeah, I'm a fan of speed. But once again, when my father reiterated with me that vehicles specifically aren't anything but tools, that eventually resonated with me to a point where I'm doing my best to keep the Mayor Mobile in motion. So that's it for Flux City Weekly. I'm Eddie Carrington, once again, Mayor of Flux City. Really appreciate you chiming in, listening to me ramble for a bit, and I hope to see you in the next episode. If you're finding true value out of these episodes, please like, subscribe, comment below, and I am hoping to continue to bring you some type of value when it comes to the content and the experiences that I'm sharing with you all. With that said, have a good one. Peace.